Well, that went weird. This is your RPG Archivist, and I did a video and I had my stand in a new position trying to get it right, and it went wrong. I don't know how, if the YouTube studio is going to iron it out or what, but I'm back to how my stand was originally placed. Not that you care. But anyway, so I just thought I'd show a few things off before we get to the main event. Picked up a couple of things at Hobby Lobby, model color ivory, because I'm pretty sure I'm going to need it for this figure here. And when I get to painting this guy, Warren, I will definitely be using this color in some way, shape, or form. I also picked up this airbrush thinner, even though I don't own an airbrush yet. I thought maybe this would be useful for thinning paints, just because. Of course, after you see what I'm about to show you, you're going to wonder why I even bothered, because it just occurred to me just now that this might not even be necessary. Oh well, Hobby Lobby has my money now. Meanwhile, I've also made a couple purchases at my friend at local gaming store. Bought these Army Painting mixing balls, which you're supposed to do is you take one of these little BBs. That's really what they are, they're BBs. And you put them in your paint things, and when you shake them up, they move around and it mixes your paint better. They're made to go into the Army Painter paint line, but I don't see why they wouldn't be useful in my favorite little Reaper miniature ones. Speaking of which, I also pulled out these. Some of you guys may know what these are. Look at them. Oop. I don't know if I could get a good view of these or not. Yeah, you really can't tell on camera. These are tiny little skulls. So where are these from? And why are they all different colors? Well, in certain paints, by Reaper's old line, the Pro Paint line, their metallics in particular, I guess they had a tendency to dry out or something, but they did, they put these little skulls in them, and these were these. Isn't that cool? So people who were fond of Reaper and they had those old paints, we were always collecting these little skulls. So you can see I have a number of them, all different metallics and pearls. I even have a few in here. This is some a skull or two inside here, and I just never pulled them out. That was to get some of the excess paint off of them. I just thought I'd show those off. I also, from my friendly local gaming store, MSP Master Series paint brush on sealer. I really didn't need it. I don't know why I bought it when I had one right here. And I knew I had it because I used it on Moth. I guess I figured, oh, what the hell. It couldn't hurt to have an extra one, just in case. Also got something I've never, ever used before. Liquid green stuff. I thought, I've never had any experience with liquid green stuff, but I thought that if I really wanted to get technical with this guy, I could use it as like gap filler for like across here. I don't know if you can see that or not. I don't know. The stand is weird. I got a bar blocking the view. Hopefully this isn't all blurry. So I noticed one of my videos, the video I did of Eskin Mel Rogue / Moth, every time I put him up close to show you a good look view, You see that? How blurry he is? Boo. You have to put him kind of far back to get a good look at him, and then you lose all the detail. Let me put my light down closer. Well, that just made it worse. I need another lamp or something. Well, as you can see in the description that I have yet to put out yet, we are going to pop this sucker open. This is the Army Painter Wet Pallet. Never used a wet pallet in my life. I've been watching videos about wet pallets, and I figured, I'll give it a shot. A lot of my friends are already using them. They seem to like them, and the way I paint, or try to paint, I'm always getting interrupted. I'm constantly having people bug me to do different things. People needing rides, and dogs needing to go out, and, you know, the usual day-to-day stuff. I wonder if I'm ever going to use this thing. I don't know. Anyway, so this is, let me back this up just a bit, the Army Painter Wet Pallet. So let's pop this sucker open with the handy-dandy knife. You know what? I'm going to do a little jump cut so I get all this done, so you don't get to see me cut my finger or whatever during the video. Okay, give me a minute. Hey, using my super sharp blade, I have gotten this end undone. Shink. Ha-ha! Ooh. War Game Army Painter Guide. Not really. Wonder if Army Painter makes its own miniatures. Huh. Interesting. So this is a step-by-step on painting miniatures. That's kind of cool. You'd think it would be, oh, look at that. I've seen this owl bear. Where have I seen that owl bear? I don't know. Look at that. That's kind of cute. What's this? Army Painter Tools and Assembly Safety Guide. Oh. So if you're putting models together. Oh yeah. Now that's neat. I guess this would be neat. I mean, if you were like a first-time painter and for whatever reason somebody told you to buy the wet palette. Oh look, of course the commercial in the back, all the stuff they sell. I may have to check this company out. Okay. And, oh, what's this? How to use wet palette. Now I've actually already watched a number of videos on how to use a wet palette. Ah, open. Open. You suck. Ugh. There we go. Okay. Soak hydro foam in water. Place hydro foam in tray. Add more water if needed. Add hydro sheet. Wipe out air bubbles. Start painting. Huh. Neat. Neat. Alright. More instructional stuff is always useful. So these are the what do they call them? Sponges? What did they call them in this thing? Hydro sheet. No. Hydro foam. So these are the hydrofoams. These are the hydro sheets. Okay. Oh, something at the bottom. What's at the bottom? Oh, look at this. Thank you. Ah, you're welcome. Let's see. Oh yeah, that's kind of neat. I had this in a previous video from, I think it was one of the Reaper videos. Oh, and look at that. A whole slew of products from Army Painter. Wow. Huh. Thought Citadel made a lot of stuff. Always like these little hex things. Shows all the different colors they do. Funny thing about these though is when you're looking for like the metallics, you don't always see. Like there's the metallics here, but I like the weird metallics like red metallic and green metallic. I don't use them often, but boy, I love them. And when I have them, I usually find an excuse to use them. Okay, boy, I've looked at everything except the pallet itself. Some of you guys, I hope you haven't already seen a video or two on this, because if this is your first time, thank you for allowing me to be the first person to introduce you to the wet pallet. I'm already pretty positive about this, because I've seen the videos and I'm like, yeah, that looks like a thing that I would like. So this neat little band here. Look at that. Yeah. Kind of cool. And then we pop this open. The neat thing about this is your little top. You got this little tray. Apparently, Army Painter makes these little weird shaped brushes and they clip into here. And this is basically a paintbrush holder thingy. So I would be doing something like this, though a lot of my paintbrushes don't fit. But I'm sure the Army Painter ones will. Because they're made for it, huh? Let's see. Get these out of my way. And this is where your foam is going to go. Tell you what, just for the heck of it, I'm not going to soak it now, like the instructions say. I'm going to go ahead and I'm just going to pull it out. Tell you what, I'm going to pause this for a second. Alright, we are back. So, this is the hydro foam. This is the thing I got to soak in water. And you would place it, after being soaked in water, you would place it here. This is a hydro sheet. I've already pulled one out. There's a number of these, and you would put it on top and fix it where it's not curling so bad. Apparently getting this wet will help it to keep from curling. Saw that in the video. Speaking of things I saw in other videos, yeah, I am not the end-all be-all of painting. You probably already know this. But I saw in another video that somebody had made that parchment paper, not wax paper, parchment paper, works just as well. So, let's pretend that that's all done. I put my paints on it. You know what? I'm just going to show you that part later, because this isn't just going to be me showing off the wet palette. I'm actually also going to paint this figure here, Aaron Rabin. It's one of the Reaper minis. I'm painting her. I guess it's a her. To test out the wet palette and to get an idea of a color scheme for Warren. So, thus concludes part 1 of my wet palette video. I don't know if this will be separate videos or if I'll just make it one continuous video, but I'm going to start painting on her, And I'll be doing like I did with Moth, just kind of skipping around. Anyway, I'll be back. Looks even better out of the package. A little pro tip for you new painters. This is the, what do they call this? A bubble blister pack that it would come in right there. I have a number of these, and I use these often to mix paints and to use as pallets, and they're easy and disposable. So little thing there if you're not using your wet palette. I may actually use this for the primer coat. So I got to put a surface primer on these guys. I'm not going to use the gray. I found 2 bottles of the Reaper Black primer. I'm going to pull those out and use those. But had a very kind of a similar pose. The only thing is, look at the capes. Look at that. Look how dynamic the Reaper one is compared to the Hero Forge. Now that's a limitation of the Hero Forge. You get a more precise visual representation of what you want your character to look like. And that's the pro of your Hero Forge or anything like that. But the disadvantage is you get capes that are kind of just there. This one, it flows. It's going to be fun to paint, and I might even do a little extra detail on it because I'm a very simple painter. I don't try to make it like super hyper realistic or anything like that. I just think I treat them more like a 3D coloring book. You know, this color is that color, and this color is that color. I know the techniques that I should be employing to make them look more dynamic. But you know what? Even when I don't use any of the really neat, cool techniques, more often than not, my figure comes out looking better than most pre-painted figures you get in boxes. Okay, now for the next part. Hey, added one of those mixing balls into my black primer. Listen to this. You can hear that? There you go. Neat. I think it's working. I wonder if that little ball is going to end up blocking it, though. I don't know. But check this out. I was having a little trouble. Always keep a little paper clip handy if one of your paint bottles gets clogged. Just shove it down in there until it gets unclogged. Ha. A little trick I figured out on my own. Didn't have to figure that out from somebody else's video. So chances are you could have figured that out yourself. You might be asking, well, first of all, I notice I'm not using the, what do you call it, the wet palette. I'm not sure about primer on wet palette. I'm going to put in extra. I got a couple more bottles of this stuff somewhere. So I'm going to use ye old handy palette to use on this. And you may be asking, hey, what is he doing using a brush-on primer when you could be using the far superior aerosol primer? Well, it's a number of reasons. Well, reason number one, my workspace is in my bedroom. So I don't want that going all over the place. Reason number two, well, they work great. They're amazing unless you live in a area that is rainy with a chance of more rain. Yeah, I live in an area that's humid and muggy and nasty all the time. And except for in the heat of summer, is it ever viable for me to use the aerosol primers, which work great, by the way. But I could do the brush-on primer. The trick to the brush-on primer is simple. Just get the coats even, and then pop any bubbles that might show up on the figure. It's that simple.